So we live together.
Yep.
We watch football together.
Yep.
We talk about football together.
Yep.
Why don't we just start a podcast?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eye Test. It's your boy Lyés and my guy CultureCams. The Premier League is right on the horizon, right around the corner. And you know what? We were thinking about doing prediction videos, right? But I'm sure if you guys are plugged into the internet, you'll see everybody and their mother is doing a table prediction. Where is this team gonna finish? Where is this team gonna finish? We like to do things a little differently over here. So it was actually Cam's idea. We decided to make a video and talk to you guys about not the things that we think are going to happen, the things that are going to happen. These are the things that you can bank on this season happening in the Premier League. We'll see how they go. Obviously, come back to us in 9 months. But how you been though, bro? You excited for the Premier League?
Yeah, it's here now, innit? So it's starting to get close to it. So now you're starting to get excited. Obviously, we've got Fulham as well at home, Man United. So both going to the game, enjoy that. So yeah, I'm actually excited for it. The Community Shield was good. Obviously we didn't win, but the experience was good. The game, I think we played well. I know it's not Man City's strongest team, but United had players missing too as well. So I think overall it was good. It was fun. And I'm looking forward to the season now, man. Like, let's just get it underway. You know, all the transfer talk is getting boring, bro. You know
Holiday mode is over as well, too, huh?
Yeah.
Did a little nice thing in the US, but we back from business now,
There we go.
Keep an eye out for that as well, too, by the way. We'll have content, obviously always powered by BR Football, but, you know, we might have collabed with a certain European giant, but that's all for the future. Let's talk about the current present and what's going to happen this season. You were telling me earlier you got one in mind, especially that you think is going to happen 100% this season. Let's hear it.
So my thing this year is not this year, but I think going into the season, there's a lot of exciting things about young players. You know what I mean? Even players that are young still, but they've been around for quite a while as well. So that might be something I'll lead to later. But one that I've got right now, he made a move this summer. He came from the Championship. He went to Tottenham. My one right now is Archie Gray will receive an England call-up, his first England cap this season. I did the exact same thing for Kobbie Mainoo last year.
You predicted Kobbie Mainoo would get an England cap by the end of the season.
On the breakdown with JD, I said Kobbie Mainoo will have a cap for England, and he went on to start games for England. That was incredible, honestly. I need to go back to that episode. But Archie Gray will receive his first England cap this season after an impressive first season, debut season at Tottenham Hotspur. That's my one for this year. I just think when you look at him, he's versatile. He can play right back, he can play in centre midfield, and he can play as a first phase midfielder, or he can play as box to box. Of course, he's got a good manager in Ange. I don't know Ange's track record with young players like that. However, I know Ange knows a good football player, as you can see from his signings so far. I don't think Spurs, since Ange has come in, you might say he's not the one signing, who knows? But I haven't seen somebody that has flopped as of yet, in my opinion. So I look at Spurs, I look at what they got going on, and I think with Archie Gray coming into that midfield, I think he's not going to be the star of the show, but I think he's going to have a very, very impressive first season. And I see him with Lee Carsley in charge as well. I know Lee Carsley just stepped up from 21s, and he's going to be trying to see if he can get his permanent job. So who knows, going to be risky. But Archie Gray for me is not a major risk. I think that's a quality player, and I'm looking forward to seeing him this season.
You look at too the way Lee Carsley's team obviously played in the past. He's someone who clearly prioritizes technical ability. Players who like to keep and take care of the ball. And Archie Gray, you kind of have that. The only thing is that England midfield is starting to get congested in terms of the young players that are starting to come up. I mean, we saw obviously Rice and Mainoo, they're going to be there. Jude Bellingham is going to be in and about those positions. Foden, of course, a little higher up the pitch. But you got Adam Wharton, who didn't even see a minute at this Euros. I'm sure he's only going to grow this season. And even around him, around the league, there's like, this is a good time to be an England fan if you are. So it'll be tough, but I don't think that's the worst shout in the world, man.
And I think it's the versatility, I think, can help. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you got somebody that can play 2-3 positions, they find their way in the squads. Do you get where I'm coming from? So I think, okay, Carsley might be different. It's not Southgate no more. So it might just be Trent going forward from right back now. But you never know, man. We'll see where he fits in. But I'm telling you, he's going to impress people this season. The way he's comfortable on the ball, the way he's in his intelligence at such a young age, it's gonna surprise a few people this year, man. That's my first one for for the 2024-25 season.
That's ironic that you start off with Archie Gray and Spurs, to be honest, because that's actually where I'm going with my first one.
Okay.
I'm not even going to talk about Spurs in the league because actually I think Spurs at this current moment in the window, at the time of recording, I would actually have them finishing in the top 4, just about, even though there's a lot of competition for that 4th place. But that's not my take. That's not my prediction for this season. My prediction, and I'm stating it now, I'm putting my rep on the line, and it's a big shout because we're talking about something that hasn't happened for damn near over a decade, man. We're closing in on 20 years at this point. But there's something in the air. I got a feeling right now, man. I think this is the year Spurs' trophy drought ends. I think Tottenham Hotspur are ending the drought for a trophy. Yeah. And it's a long drought. Yeah. Man, the air is dry. Yeah. But I think it's ending this year, bro. Wow. I think
Spurs are going to win a trophy.
Ange era. That's what Fuad told us last year. I think Ange and Tottenham will finally break that drought and they will bring home a trophy this year.
What trophy? Can you go the one extra step? What trophy? Is it the FA Cup or is it the Carabao?
I think it might even be the Europa League, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, bring home
you think Spurs are bringing home a European
and there's a lot of competition in that tournament this year. Obviously, ourselves are going to be in it, United. But yeah, man, I have a feeling, bro. I
thought you were going to say FA Cup. I thought you were going to say Carabao. You went with the Europa
I think
League.
FA Cup and Carabao is tough, man.
Europa
I think it's arguably... This could be a crazy show. I think it's arguably easier to win the Europa League than it is to win the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Yeah, because in the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, you typically have to beat City. Typically have to beat Arsenal, Liverpool. With all due respect to the teams that are in the Europa League, and this is not me trying to hate on any of the European teams, but if you ask me to defeat Fiorentina or you ask me to defeat, I don't know, Mönchengladbach, I think those are more straightforward tests than having to beat Manchester City.
Only thing is, with those, you have to go away. You know what I mean? You could play City at home. Yeah. And that could benefit.
But that's what happened last year, and they played City and they lost.
But you can play these teams at home, maybe that advantage. But when you got to go to these teams away, it's when you start seeing some upsets and stuff. You know what I mean? Because even though teams aren't that quality in terms of the name or what you see in terms of profiles, but you go away to these grounds sometimes on European nights, and it's a fight, man. You got to get in and get out. It's true. It's tough. It's tough, but Europa.
I'm calling this right now. I'm not 100% sure on Europa, but I'm saying my take is that the trophy drought ends this year, whether it's Carabao, whether it's Europa, hell, whether it's the FA Cup. You won't catch me saying the Premier League. I'm not that crazy. Yeah. But I think it's ending this year, bro. I believe in what Ange is doing over there. I think the signing of Solanke is massive. Maybe they're a winger off, and I think they're still gonna look for one in this window. But I like what's going on over there in North London, man.
Wow. We'll stay on the young players. I alluded to it before. But again, this is exactly what you were just saying earlier. England have so many of these players in the same positions. How is this one going to happen? But I'm going to put my neck on the line. And I'm going to say Harvey Elliott is going to have the biggest season of his career so far this year. He's going to emerge as a Liverpool key player this season for me. Under Onslaught, I think he's going to find a role in that team. Whether it's the RCM, whether it's the 10, we'll see. But I think he's going to have a major importance to Liverpool this season. That doesn't mean everything's going to run through him, but I think he's going to be important. I think he will get into the England team as well this year. And I'm going to say he'll be up for Young Player of the Year this year.
This is like his Foden season. Or
maybe not Foden.
Not Player of the Year, but like, you know how Foden a few years ago, when they went to the Champions League final, he finally emerged as like, instead of being a bit part player, like you call him in every once in a while, he became a stalwart in the team.
I think that's going to be Harvey Elliott this season.
He definitely has the talent, bro.
He has the talent, bro. Harvey Elliott's been playing Championship football since 15 years old. The guy, he feels like he's been around so long. He's still 21. Wow. It feels like Harvey Elliott has been, you think he's at 24.
Yeah, and it does feel like he's a veteran at this point.
He's been around so long, but now is the time. He's had a bad injury. He's had his minutes bit part. He's found himself in certain positions, found a bit of importance under Klopp at certain periods. I think now this season with Onslaught there, I think he's going to favour him, and I think he's going to get a good role in this team. And that's what I'm saying. So I think it's going to be the biggest season of his career so far. England caps. And up for Young Player of the Year.
I think you're 100% right when it comes to how young Harvey Elliott is. Like when we talk about the best young players in the league, I think he's a name that always gets forgotten. Again, because of like how, to be fair, he's never been that guy in the Liverpool team. And also the fact that he's been around for so long makes you forget something. It's like a bit like Saka. Like sometimes people forget that Saka's 22 years old. It's a bit similar to Harvey Elliott, but I think the Arne Slot thing is interesting, right? Because you had Curtis Jones coming out and saying, I actually think the style of play might suit me a bit more than it did in the past. I think similar can be said about Harvey Elliott.
It's going to be
right?
interesting. A lot of stuff we're talking about is about internal improvement. Can his system get more of Curtis? Can it get more of Harvey? Can it get more of Szoboszlai? I saw Szoboszlai get a decent little assist for Diaz against Sevilla. Maybe he might be rejuvenated this year as well. So we'll see what happens. But they got internal things that they can sort out. But those are my two so far.
I like those. They're good shouts.
Yeah.
I'm about to hit you with a big shout though.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So last year, obviously, I had a team near the bottom that I was rooting for every year. And unfortunately for Luton Nation, then it came to an end. Like we had a good run. I can't lie. Luton Nation, we had a decent run. At one point, I was actually thinking, I was like, these Everton points deductions, Forest new manager, we burnt out at the end. But I'm analyzing the scoping of the bottom half of the table this year. I'm looking at the promoted teams. I'm looking at the bottom dwellers down there. And you know what? I've looked at a few of them, right? Southampton, there's some good dudes, right? Russell Martin, good young coach. There's some good young players there. But I think ultimately his style mixed with the inexperience in that team, I do see Southampton failing to stay up. Leicester obviously steamrolled the championship last year, but Maresca's gone.
Yeah.
Dewsbury Hall has left for Chelsea. Vardy's on the cusp of retirement. And there are rumors of huge points deductions because of they've supposedly broken FFP rules. So we'll go on to see about that. I think it'll be very difficult for them to stay up. But I'm looking at the third team, Ipswich under Kieran McKenna. From League One to Premier League. First of all, the story so far has been absolutely sensational. Honestly, right? It's a dream that what they've been able to do. But the biggest test now is can that style of play and can these young players and these players who've never played basically top flight football, can they make the ultimate jump to the Premier League? Obviously, Luton did similar in terms of League One, or they even did League Two, I think, League One, Championship, Premier League. They weren't able to stay up. Can Ipswich do it this year? Can Ipswich right the wrongs of Luton Nation last year? And that's what I'm saying on this show right now. Ipswich Nation. We got this. Ipswich Nation are staying up this year, bro. That's my team. Okay. I'm riding with till the end of the season right now, bro.
So you're saying Ipswich will stay up?
Yeah, I think, look,
have you got an idea of where they'll stay up? Would it be one of them Sheffield United type
I think this
seasons?
is going to be a tough year. I think this year it's going to be like a battle. There's going to be points where people think they're gone. I think they're going to finish around 16th, 17th place right now. And actually, over the summer, I met one of Ipswich's strikers, Ali Al-Hamadi, man. Iraqi striker. Okay. He came in actually midway through the season. I believe it was on loan or permanently because he was doing really well in the lower leagues. Joined the team, was part of that promotion push. He's going to stay with them this year in the Premier League as well, too. So big up Ali. But I was speaking to him and I was asking him, right? This was right in the midst of when Kieran McKenna was really linked to the United and the Chelsea job. And I was saying, do you think, he's actually ready to make that kind of jump? And he told me, bro, Lyés, this guy is a genius. He's saying first of all, he's the best manager I've ever worked under. But the way he views football and the way he communicates with his players, he said, I've never seen anyone like that, bro. So he's very under the belief. Obviously, he's a little biased, right? It's his manager. But he believes that those links were warranted. And the way he was bigging him up, they've obviously managed to keep Omari Hutchinson as well, too. It's mostly the same squad as last season. I believe in Ipswich this year, bro. I believe in that. Ipswich Nation. We got this. Fair enough. You got one last one for us or not?
I got one last one. Yeah. And, I like both of them. I've met both of them, which is funny. But I was at the Community Shield, right? Man United versus Man City.
Is that when you got dunced by Roy Keane?
Yeah, that's my brother there, man. And listen, I could drop a picture right there. You know what I'm saying? But I was at the Community Shield, Man United, Man City. And there was a player who didn't come on for Manchester United. And that's Joshua Zirkzee. Now, I've seen his videos. I've seen that he's technical and he's neat on the ball and he can make things happen. But I never knew how the size of that guy.
He's huge. He's what, 6'4", I think?
He's about 6'4". He was towering over HP.
Yeah,
and HP is about 6'2".
He's tall.
He was towering over HP.
Okay, no.
And his literally shoulders, his back, he's a big guy, very big guy. So when I'm looking at him, I'm like, if you've got feet like that and you've got presence like that, you should do well in this league. Yeah. You really should do well. I'm not only talking about only if you're just big, because some people say, well, Højlund had that presence about him and he struggled kind of last season. but I don't think he has the technical
Oh,
quality
yeah.
of
Zirkzee's
Joshua
a footballer.
Zirkzee.
Yeah.
So I actually think Zirkzee, if there's going to be this whole Zirkzee Højlund thing all season, I think Zirkzee is going to be Manchester United's starting 9 by Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, I think by Christmas, us as fans are going to want to see Zirkzee starting. I think Zirkzee, with his presence, I was looking at the Man City game. There was a few times where I was thinking, if we just had a presence up there, you can get the ball down, we can build from here. Ahmad, he likes to 1-2. Garnacho, he likes to go in beyond. Rashford, we know he likes to make them runs as well. I think Zirkzee is someone that could aid them, that could help them. But also, I want to see him get goals as well. But I do think we're going to be having these discussions that, do Manchester United play better actually with Zirkzee up top instead of Rasmus Højlund? I think that's going to emerge by Christmas. And I think he'll be getting the nod ahead of Højlund.
That's really interesting, right? Because that's been a big thing with me in the Zirkzee signing. Like, I think he's a really great player. And I think for 35 million or whatever we spent on him, I think it's a great deal. But my biggest thing has kind of been like, how does Ten Hag envision the striker situation at United? Because he's alluded a few times to, him and Højlund, they can actually play together, and Zirkzee can play all across the front line. I'll be real. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't see United playing with 2 up front next year. I don't see Zirkzee playing on the right all of a sudden. I think it will be, like most teams, it's like survival of the fittest. Who can kind of stake their claims, score the goals, make the team better, and then the other guy's just going to have to feed off scraps until he gets an opportunity. But it's interesting with Zirkzee, right? He's a completely different kettle of fish to Rasmus Højlund. But when you look at some of the profiles that we have in a Garnacho and a Rashford, these guys like to typically play on the last line. That's their best kind of strength. It might suit a Zirkzee. And then we talk about Ahmad on the other side as well too. Maybe that connection between
that's what I mean. And that's the thing. I don't actually only think, a lot of people think it's like you're playing Madden or something. Like, you're just going to give it to Zirkzee, runners, and he's going to fight. No, it's not even that. Not even that. You look at how Rashford is kind of, his game is becoming. He wants the ball to feet a lot. Yeah. So he needs someone to link with. Because Rashford's not always going to be doing them runs as well. We see Ahmad. Ahmad loves the 1-2s. Bruno, can Bruno start running in beyond him again? You know what I mean? Is Bruno going to be playing a little bit higher? I think Zirkzee is not only going to help people running and beyond, but I think it's the combination play. I think he can massively help with. There was so many occasions last season where, how many times did we say, like, Højlund could be stronger there, or let go of him, like being more intelligent. From what I've seen of Zirkzee in videos, it looks like he's got that little bit of intelligence. Yes, I don't know the full scope of his work. I'm going to be just like everybody else, learning about him as we go along. But trust me, after seeing him in real life, he was like 4, 5, 6 inches taller than Ake. Like, just standing. I know Ake's not like the tallest guy.
Still, bro, he's like 5'11", 6 foot.
I had him like this, and I was like, nah. If you actually can combine tech with that size, you're looking at
you'll have to physically. It's also a question of aggression as well, too, right? Because we've seen big players in the Premier League, guys like Scamacca, for example. They don't really like play to their size. So I think that's always the issue of these like technical big guys, right? Like you think like, everyone should be like Zlatan, but oftentimes it's the huge guys with great feet that like almost play a little soft. So I think Zirkzee will also need to adapt to the physical presence of the league, but. That's a good shout, man. I'll be very interested to see who kind of wins that battle.
That's something I think is going to be murmured amongst the camp. I mean, we've had this before. Cavani and Martial's and Martial with Lukaku's and stuff. Like, a lot of time people always thought, we play better with Martial in the team. Maybe Cavani's going to score more though. Maybe maybe Cristiano's going to score more. But we always kind of felt, when Martial's fit, Rashford becomes better. Or, you know what I mean? So I think that might be a Zirkzee situation,
Interesting.
Man.
Okay, I got one last one. And it's kind of like a duel if you want. But this is going to be... I'm putting this out on the line as well, too. I think the Young Player of the Year award is going to be contested between 2 players that reside in the same city. They play for opposing teams, but they play on the same side of the pitch. I think the Young Player of the Year award will be decided between Oscar Bob and Amad Diallo. I think those two. It's a battle of Manchester for Young Player of the Year. And we got a little teaser of it in the Community Shield between Bob and Ahmad, man. I mean, I'm gonna start with Oscar Bob, right? Because that kid is sublime, man. Honestly, he is so talented. The way he glides is like the most impressive thing for me. It seems so effortless the way he plays. I know, look, he was playing against Lisandro, who you could argue either is out of position or out of fitness or something like that. Look, it's not the toughest assignment in the world. Like, let's see how he does against actual natural left backs. But he destroyed Lisandro, who's a player that a lot of people really rate highly. And from the glimpses that we saw of Oscar Bob last year, we've seen a bit in preseason this year. And then the Community Shield, for me, almost like stapled it. That right-hand side doesn't really have a guy claiming it completely 100% at City. I think on the left, you have a few guys out there. In midfield, it's a battle between Foden, De Bruyne, Bernardo, along with Rodri. But that right-hand side is actually there to be claimed by Oscar Bob. And I think he's taken huge steps in doing so these opening few games. And we'll see, obviously, into the season as well, too. I'm a big believer in that kid. But then over in United as well, too, I think it's a very similar situation, right? The right-hand side, forget about right now. It's been barren since Antonio Valencia at Man United. They've been looking for a guy to kind of claim that role. And they tried with Anthony. They tried with Jadon Sancho. They were trying with Juan Mata for a minute. But I look at Ahmad, a guy that while they were buying all these players has quietly just been in United's possession this entire time. For a while, I actually felt he was like United's forgotten man. He was getting sent to Rangers, had that spell at Sunderland. But he's someone that I've always believed in terms of natural ability. He's as good as anybody has in United's front line. He just needed the opportunity. And to be fair, he needed to grow a little bit too. He needed to mature as well. But I think Ahmad, from what we saw towards, again, the end of last season, in preseason, for me, he was United's standout player. And then in the Community Shield as well, too. How well he played when he kind of got on the ball and made things happen. This is, again, just a special footballer that wants to always create. And for me, those are my favorite kinds of players. And I think it's something United is screaming for. Because if you have Rashford, you have Garnacho, you have Højlund, you need guys who take care of the football. You alluded to Zirkzee. And Ahmad is definitely of that mold as well, too. And the one last thing, right? He's got a massive opportunity because, like I said, Sancho and Anthony, it looks like they're both out of his plans completely. Rashford on the left. Garnacho, he can kind of do a job all over, and we'll see where he ends up. But I think these first few games of the season, he will be given the opportunity to stake his claim. And it's all up to him. But if we're talking about ability, he has everything it takes to make that his own and be one of the young stars in the Premier League this season.
I do think that they will both have good seasons. I definitely think it's going to be a breakthrough, hopefully, for Ahmad. Definitely. Oscar Bob is looking like it's going to be the case too. But I do disagree about the player of the year, the young player of the year. The only reason why I would tell you that I disagree is because I think the standard of the young player of the year is kind of going up a little bit.
Tough, huh?
You look at the last few years. I mean, like
Palmer,
these guys
Saliba.
they're putting player of the year campaigns and just having to get young player because there's somebody else
That's true.
doing whatever.
Saka, for example, he didn't get nominated for player of the year. He's nominated for young player.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at Bukayo Saka, who,
But he's done, I think, now. I don't think he can qualify anymore.
Yeah, okay.
hope.
I'm just talking about the
I hope.
I'm talking about the previous season.
Yeah,
You're talking about
Foden.
Bukayo Saka, who last season people would say maybe wasn't as good as 2022, 23. It depends where you sit on that. But he still walked away with great numbers. And if Ahmad puts down what Saka did last year, we're doing backflips.
Yeah.
Do you get where I'm coming from? But people weren't considering it. Erling Haaland, of what I'm talking about the season before, you're looking at Cole Palmer, what they done, what they're actually doing is crazy. Well, so then you get the Jared Braithwaite, who's linked, but you're like, you're not going to win it, but you know what? Yeah. You had a good campaign.
Adam Morton,
I think,
Kobe
exactly. I think that's where Ahmad and Bob might fall into, like good young player seasons. But I mean, to win young player of the year now, you've got to literally be like second choice player of the year, third choice.
That's why I'm putting my rep on the line here, bro.
If you're saying Ahmad's about to have a player of the year,
Ahmad! We're doing it this
Bob,
year, bro.
Wow.
Bob, I'm not so sure. But Ahmad,
Wow.
I've had my stocks invested in Ahmad for years now, bro.
For sure, same. But that's some big ones.
Big shot. Maybe they don't go as far, but I'm expecting big things from them both this season.
Nah, those are good. Those are good.
I think that's gonna do it. I think we've made some good predictions. Honestly, let us know as well too in the comments section below. What are some big things that you think are guaranteed to happen this year? Don't give us City are on the league. Or I don't know. What? I didn't know that. Give us some hot takes, man. Stuff that look you believe in it, but it's like put your rep on the line here, bro.
Just you believe in it a bit, but it's something you're just gonna put down there. You know what I mean? It's not a prediction. It's just kind of like something that will happen in your mind. You know what I mean? You've been thinking about it all summer. You've seen, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that are looking at like West Ham. If you think they're gonna finish top 4, just say
Put
that.
It in the comment section
below. You know what I mean? Just say that.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is about. It's not about real. Listen, at the end of the year, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna come up to Lyés and be like, hey, remember you said if it works, whatever. If it don't, we were just out here having some fun. Do you know what I mean? Early, we don't want to do the basic overachiever, underachiever. Who's gonna finish top 4? You're about to see that on
50 different
50
channels. You
platforms.
can see it on my
And
second channel.
You're probably going to see it on mine too. But, we don't want to do that over here.
Yeah,
So, yeah, man.
Nah, this was a good one, man. Honestly, we're super excited about the Premier League season. We will be back with weekly content. Of course, I told you, stay tuned for that interview with Robert. Yeah, we just call Robert, honestly. Lewandowski. That's for the fans to call him that. Yeah. Our boys, yeah. But check that out. Obviously, check out all the Premier League content we'll be throwing at you. And guys, this has been your boy Lyés, my guy Culture Cam. Shout out to BR Football for powering this every single time. And we'll see you soon. Peace.